What is wrong with saffronization? With that one question, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu has set a cat amongst the pigeons. Speaking at an event in Haridwar, he called for total rejection of Macaulay's system of education from the country, lamenting how prolonged colonial rule had meant that Indians were taught to be ashamed of and to despise their own culture and heritage.
We want to go back to our roots, know the greatness of our culture and heritage, and understand the great amount of treasury in our Vedas, in our books, in our scriptures. What is your problem? No, they don't want us to go and know our own greatness. They want us to suffer with that inferiority complex. They say you are all saffronizing. What is wrong in saffron? मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहे.
So while Venkaiah Naidu insists that there is nothing wrong in introducing elements in history in school books that make children aware of their glorious past, there are those in the opposition who see it as nothing but a concerted effort by the BJP government, both at the centre as well as various states that are implementing these developments, to impose and to instill Hindutva agenda. They also say that it is just a part of a bigger ploy to colour the syllabus in schools in saffron.
देखिए, उनके लिए गलत नहीं है, लेकिन उनको इस देश का संविधान भी पढ़ना चाहिए. ये देश एक सेकुलर मुल्क है, धर्मनिरपेक्ष मुल्क है और सभी धर्म को बराबरी का अधिकार है.
यहाँ पे अभी तक हमको यही पढ़ाया गया तो मुगलों ने बनाया या अंग्रेजों ने बनाया है. क्या हम हिंदुस्तानी कुछ भी नहीं कर पाए? आप देखिए कि किसी ने कुछ किया है क्या? मुझे लगता है कि उन्होंने सही कहा है कि हमें कहीं ना कहीं अपने विकसित देश को, अपने इतिहास को याद करना चाहिए.
Joining us now on the broadcast to express their points of view and to help the viewers decide where they stand on this is Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, Karan Verma, author and political analyst, also joins us, and Mohammad Asif Hussain Sohail, who is a political analyst and a social activist, is also on this broadcast. Mr. Sohail, coming to you first. What is wrong with saffronization?
Call it saffronization of education, communalization of education, or politicization of education. The basic fact remains same, that the young minds are increasingly becoming the laboratories for fundamentalist extremists here in India now, propagating the views and ideologies, while the innocent minds and fashion in the beliefs which included in them in the result, the creation of generation which is fed half-baked truth. You know the half-baked truth what is? Misrepresented the facts and distorted history. Is the generation you want us to be part of it? See, most of the politicians, when it comes to Atalji or Modi, none have the knowledge of Sanskrit, but they are well versed with the Urdu. But then why our honorable vice president is making a new, this kind of statements here? That there's nothing wrong teaching the Bhagavad Gita or Quran, but why only the one religion? When the India is a secular country, he has to go with the book by the constitution. In the constitution, what it says, don't try to just to communalize the thing. If it's going, then both it can be teach Bible also, Quran also, Bhagavad Gita also, and other religious books in the schools. Why not? Why only the one?
Is the Vice President of India not aware of what the Constitution says?
No, absolutely he is, and I think there is nothing wrong with what our Vice President says. First of all, tell me, anybody who's read the Gita will vouch for this. The word Hindu is not even used anywhere in Gita. Gita is actually the very basis of our civilization, the foundation of Indianness. So tell me, what does the Gita teach you? It teaches you about dharma, it teaches you about karma. It says, आप जैसे कर्म करोगे आपको वैसा फल मिलेगा. What is wrong in teaching our children good moral values, giving them strength, giving them quotations which will stay with them for their whole life, empower them? Because that is what Gita is about. There is nothing, absolutely nothing communal in our Gita, and I challenge them. Read the Gita. If you can show me the word Hindu, then I will agree with you.
Karan Verma, while we do mention as specifics, you know, the introduction of Gita, Sanskrit, Yoga, etc., the larger point that we must not forget that Venkaiah Naidu was making was the fact that because we have been following the Macaulay form of education system, it has trained us because it was intended to do so, to be ashamed of our culture, and it is that Indianization of syllabus seeks to fix.
So, Mr. Macaulay said it explicitly in his address on 2nd February 1835 in as many words that we don't want Indians to be creative. We want them for clerical positions. We want an education system which is utilitarian. These were his exact words. If we do not dismiss that 200 years later, and if we are not proud of our heritage, I'll share an instance with you, Priya. I visited Melbourne and I was shocked when I visited the Melbourne Medical College there and I saw a statue of Sushrut. And there were quotations from Sushrut Samhita, who is the original father of surgery. And I was ashamed of the fact that we were not taught this in our schools, in our colleges. These are treasure troves of knowledge. And my good friend, when he says that we should be taught Quran also and other religions also, he should know that the origin of these places was outside India. At least when we are talking about history and culture, we have to learn what originated here. We have to learn about Arthashastra. Arthashastra is quoted so liberally in Harvard, in Princeton, and so many other places. And many of us don't even know much about it.
Shastra. My dear friend,
Can I come in, please?
Of course they are.
One by one. Charu Pragya, we will come to you. Karan Verma, let Karan Verma finish his point.
I'll just complete. Whether it is Arthashastra, whether it is Sushrut Samhita, it is high time when the West, when multinational companies are spending billions of dollars today to take to Indian roots, to understand culture, to understand nature, then it's high time we embraced it, and we embraced it with pride.
Yes, Charu, you were making a point. Mr. Hussain, I'll come to you after that.
Yeah, no, I agree with Karan, and I just want to add to that. See, the very Indianness that we all have, our culture, does not believe in dividing at all. Every single thing said in our scriptures, whether it is the Vedas, whether it is the Gita, it does not teach anybody to divide. It is not a religious text. And those who are saying Gita is a religious text, again, I remind you, it is a humanitarian text. It teaches children to be stronger, to be wiser, to be kinder, to be nicer. And we need more of that in this world. In fact, why just limit it to a few states? I say we should teach the Gita in all the states across the country, because those who have read it cannot argue on the points that my co-panelist is arguing on. I'm very sorry. And as our Vice President said, I want to repeat this, even our foreign policy is based on lines from our civilization. When we say Vasudev Kutumbakam and we use that in our foreign policy, we mean it. When we sent out vaccines to the world, on that also we wrote, Sarve Santu, Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya. We wanted to tell people that our scriptures have taught us that the world is one family.
Right. Mr. Sohail, do you think that our history has been written impartially, and it is not true that there are several achievements that are not highlighted because it was written in a certain way with a certain aim in mind, as was highlighted by Karan?
See, there are a lot of things to be added in the history. I accept that. But, India is a secular country. It's not the religious country to be, to taught the religious book. It's better, in the schools and colleges that the students should be taught the constitution. What is constitution now? Neither the constitution of RSS or the Nagpur. It's better to constitution what Ambedkar Maulana Azad has given. We need to follow that. I'll strongly, condemn what the Vice President has said. I don't go with it. It's better, if it's the constitution of India has been taught, it's most welcome, and that is a need of the hour.
No, nobody is saying don't teach the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India can coexist with our culture.
See, for me, the Constitution is important. The book what we have a Constitution book that is important in other books.
Not against the Constitution. Nobody
is undermining its
importance. Why he is not saying that the Constitution to be taught? For him, the religion is. I need to ask you people. The constitution.
Right. This is obviously an unending debate, and 10 minutes is not the time in which we can reach a conclusion over there. But yes, it is about Indianization. What is the definition of Indianization? That needs to be concretized. Thank you, gentlemen, and Charu Pragya for joining us on this broadcast.